In this video, we will be talking about Engage's built-in customer interaction reporting solution, Classifications. Classifications can help you track call, email, and chat topics during these interactions, such as subject, subsubject, and even notes taken regarding the details of the conversation. Let's learn about locating classifications in the admin portal, establishing a classification, and the appearance of a classification to an agent. To navigate to classifications in the admin portal, go to Configure, General, Classifications. On this screen, you will see all the available classification fields across the top, and depending on which field tab you are on, all the available options in the window below. Classification fields are General, Client Types, Subjects, Resolutions, and Flagging Reasons. A key point to classifications, an often important piece that is missed, is that classifications, plural, all fall under the same build of classifications. Each separate subject or resolution is not a form in itself created individually. For example, when a classification pops up for a billing agent, they may see subjects that pertain to sales agents. This is by design, but as a billing agent, you should only be required, if required is set, to set a subject that does pertain to billing. Let's take a look. On the General tab, we see the options for all interaction types: incoming calls, outgoing calls, emails, and chats. The disposition mode is set to whether this type of interaction is disabled, no ability to classify, optional no warning, agent can classify but is not reminded, optional warning, agent can classify and the system will alert if they have or not, or mandatory, the agent must classify and they will not be able to wrap their interaction without classifying. Additionally, from this page you can determine to make client type, main subject, and/or resolution mandatory as well. Be aware, however, you do not necessarily need to do this here, as you can make any of these items mandatory in the respective tabs. Doing this here will make them mandatory for all interactions of this type, but doing it on the individual tabs allow you to subset the items per teams, groups, or client subject resolution. As seen here, we have only chosen to enable classification for incoming calls, and they are mandatory. For client types, we already see a large selection created. You can create a new client type by simply clicking the Add button at the top right. Clicking Add will open a window as seen here. Let's create a client type called Motorcycle, as we are a power sports sales company. In description, type Motorcycle. Do we want this client to be flagged to a supervisor or require notes? Let's say no to both. Do we use claim numbers, account numbers, and/or provider numbers? For our purposes, let's just say that we do have account numbers for existing clients, but not for new clients or potential clients. In this case, we will make account number optional and leave the other two disabled. Since we only have enabled classifications for incoming calls, we will only check incoming calls. Be aware that you do not have to check incoming calls just because classifications for incoming calls is enabled. Checking here only states that this client type applies to incoming calls. Applying to all teams or queues is not necessary at this point, as it can be done by team or queue after creation. But if you know for certain that you want it applied to all teams and/or queues, it can be done here. Let's apply to all teams but not all queues to see the results. As we can see, our client type has been created. In the individual columns, we can also see our chosen selections. Notes are not required. Only account number is selected and is optional. It is only assigned to incoming call interactions, and it only applies to all teams, not queues. Near the top of the page, you should note the 3 radio buttons for Per Team, Per Queue, and All. All is showing you all the possible client types. Per Team and Per Queue will also show you all the client types. If they are blue, checked, you know that client type has been assigned to the team or queue that you have selected in the drop-down menu. The box cleared means that it is not assigned to the queue or team, and the box checked and gray, as seen here, means that the client type has been assigned to the team or queue in the client type creation process by selecting all teams or queues. This cannot be undone from here and can only be changed by returning to the All button, selecting Edit from the right-hand options, removing the check, and clicking OK. Client types can also be cloned or deleted from these options. Cloning a client type will place another client type with an asterisk, noting that the name, at the very least, should be changed to assist your agents in client type selection. As with client types, subjects are also assignable per team and queue as seen here. Selecting the All radio button will display all subjects that have been created, and the Add button will allow you to create a new subject. Scrolling down, you can also see the ability to create subsubjects that you can associate with a subject, and even take it one step further and create subsubject details or sub-subsubjects. Let's create a subject with subsubject and details for our motorcycle caller. Start by clicking the Add at the top right of Main Subjects. From here, we will add a description called Dirt Bikes. We will now have the options to require notes, flag to supervisor, require subsubject selection, and private. We want to require a subsubject, but notes and supervisor alerting will not be necessary. As before, we can select to apply this to any or all interactions as well as teams and queues. Just as we did previously, let's apply this subject to incoming calls. Additionally, we will apply it to all teams. With dirt bikes highlighted, we can see that we do not have any subsubjects configured for this subject. Clicking on Eye Makeup, for example, we can see a list of subsubjects created for this subject. Return to dirt bikes and click Add to add a subsubject for this subject. Once again, we will start with a description. Let's go with Honda. Once again, no notes or flagging required, but we will require details or a subsubject. Select incoming calls once again and click OK. Let's repeat this process once again, only this time, Suzuki. We can now see two subsubjects on the list for dirt bikes and a new warning letting us know that we have not yet configured details for the selected subsubjects. Similarly, we will click Add, place a description size, and this time require notes. Do this for both subsubjects. Next, we have resolutions. As seen here, there has already been two resolutions created for this account, Working and Resolved. Let's look at these resolutions. By clicking Edit, we can see the settings for the resolution settings for Resolved. It is only set to apply to incoming calls. Closing this window by clicking Cancel, and opening Working by clicking Edit, we can see that this resolution is applied to incoming calls, but is also set to flag to a supervisor. We are going to leave it this way so that a supervisor will be notified of an interaction that is still open or not yet been completed. We also want to require notes on why this is the case. Without selecting Edit, we can also review these settings by simply looking at the main page and checking the column listings. Finally, we are left with flagging reasons. Flagging reasons are things that we may want to include that are not previously covered on other tab settings. As seen here, we have Threat of Legal and Warranty. These are two good examples of flagging reasons. Did the customer threaten legal action? We may want to bring this to someone's attention so that the call can be reviewed. Is the call concerning a warranty issue? Perhaps these calls need to be brought to the attention of another department. You should now have a great understanding of how to set up a classification. Let's take a quick look at the agent view of how a classification will work and be applied to the interaction. As seen here, the call is connected, and the agent is working with the customer. When trying to disconnect the call or wrap up, you will see a warning message if a required classification has not been completed. This makes the agent aware that the classification is mandatory. At any time during the call, if classifications are enabled, the agent will also be able to select the classifications icon and fill in classification information. For our power sports company example, The agent will select motorcycle from the client type dropdown. We made account number optional as we would only need an account number for an existing client. New clients would not necessarily have an account number, nor would one be created without a sale. For main subject, we will choose dirt bikes. Doing this will trigger the subsubject field to ask for input as we made this a required field. Entering a subsubject will then trigger the subsubject detail field. Select size and try to close the classification. Notice once again that we receive a notice giving us an error. This time it is informing the agent that notes are required for the subsubject detail as we made this a required field. Click OK and add notes. Choose a resolution and click OK. We now see that there are no warnings and the classification is allowed to be closed. You should now have a full understanding of classifications, how they can be created, and how they appear to the agents involved with customer interactions. Thank you for watching.
Orchestrating a Brighter World, NEC.